Good morning and welcome to the DFS Army YouTube channel. I am Razzle11 or on Twitter Razzle11Grinds. Going to take a look at some pitching options for today, Saturday, the 22nd of April. Interesting split slate on the day where actually most of the pitching options that I want to use are on the day slate and not on the main slate. So it's going to make for an interesting build for each slate. So let's take a look here. Kind of look at the weather station here, give you a little preview of the tool on DFS Army. We have a lot of red going on, and red is not a good thing to have, especially for the day slate. You notice a lot of it, a lot of cold. There's some wind, some rain issues potentially again. Very cold in Minnesota again, but they played through it last night. And then we got red in the air density and hitter category as well. So, very interesting spots today. It's gonna be curious to see how some builds come together. But looking at the day action, and again, I use DraftKings because that is where I would say 90 to 95% of my action is at this point. As you can see, we have names at the top. And when I say names, I mean legit names. Obviously, Cy Young type guys in Garrett Cole, future Cy Young winners in McClanahan. Then you have Cease, Cy Young guy. And even, Dustin May, who throws ridiculously hard with a ton of movement. And then Pablo Lopez, who has looked absolutely sensational for the Twins. So, to be honest, of these five here right at the top, the only one I'm really considering fading, and I'm pretty sure I am going to full fade, is going to be Dylan Cease. The obvious is he's taking on Tampa Bay, the best offense in baseball to begin the season. They haven't slowed down. They're still hitting home runs. They're still getting it done. I think they hit 2 home runs in the ninth inning yesterday to walk it off against the White Sox. We know that Cease is, pretty damn elite, but we have this walk issue, and that's huge. I write about it all the time. When you have guys that have walk issues, it's only a matter of time before they allow big innings, especially with the home run ball these days. He's coming off of throwing 113 pitches in his last start. That's quite a few pitches in today's baseball. I'm still a traditionalist in thinking that, guys should be able to throw 120 pitches routinely. But it's a debate for another day. But with Cease, I don't think we need to take the risk because I think we get, even if he has a strong game against this tough Tampa Bay lineup, I think we match that with, one of a number of other guys. McClanahan on the other side makes a ton of sense to me because I just don't think the White Sox lineup overall is that strong. Garrett Cole obviously just racks up strikeouts. Toronto has hit him a little bit, from a home run perspective, but they do still strike out around 30% against him. Dustin May in Chicago, super cold. I'm trying to get clarification on where exactly the wind is because the game has a 9 total. But the one thing that stands out to me is Dustin May throws 100 with a ton of movement, huge ground ball rate. 2 of his 4 starts, he's gotten 11 ground ball outs. Doesn't rack up the Ks, which is shocking, but that heavy baseball that he throws in the weather that's in Chicago, gonna hurt some hands, to be honest. So he really stands out from that perspective. Pablo Lopez is probably going to be my favorite option. Super cold in Minnesota. Washington, not a difficult opponent. And he is racking up the strikeouts to begin the season. So when you put all that together, Pablo Lopez is going to, be one of my main plays overall. But We also want to talk about some fades. I did mention Dylan Cease. I am going to be fading Logan Webb. Uh, he's given up 4 runs in every start so far this season. And while he did have 12 Ks against the Yankees, providing a really strong DraftKings score, he was actually pretty strong against the Dodgers despite giving up, 4 runs, only one earned. But the Mets just aren't striking out right now, and the offense looks really good. So I'm just not gonna go with Logan Webb today. I think it. I feel pretty safe in saying that fading him is, the smart option. Uh, One guy again that I'm going to continue the fade on. I know the Yankees are striking out a little bit, so there is some upside in that regard. But Manoah isn't striking people out, and he's walking everybody. I'm just not playing Alek Manoah right now. I don't know, like a lot can be looked into. I know he spent the offseason getting into Twitter arguments with people, uh, and I'm not sure that he really put a ton of work in the offseason. I'm going to be honest. He just looks like a guy that felt like he, was just great last year, so he didn't really need to get better. But I'm going to fade him against the Yankees in New York. I do see some guys that I respect on Twitter saying that Manoa is going to show up today. I just can't get there. I will gladly go on the fade, even at 6,800 with some K upside. I'm still just going to be off for the day slate. Now we're going to take a quick look at the main to get you a couple names. Two names at the top I'm going to be all about is Valdez and Luis Castillo. We know Framber's got a tougher matchup, but he's had a ton of success against the Atlanta roster, so I don't have a problem, relying on him. Luis Castillo has been sensational begin the season, pitching at home, great spot. Some of St. Louis has hit him well in previous matchups when he was with Cincinnati, but the way that he's throwing right now, I'm going to be all about him. I think I'm going to end up with the fade on Musgrove. The game's got a high total. He's making his first major league start of the season. He did make 2 rehab starts, racked up 14 strikeouts in those 2 starts, but he was hit around a bit. So I think I'm going to play more of a wait and see approach with Joe Musgrove. So I am looking to use Arizona a bit, as apparently I have a Discord notification as you heard that sound. But looking at some other pitching, I think I'm going to be fading Kyle Gibson. I think people are going to use him just based purely on the matchup with Detroit. And I think at 8,600, I can get away with a fade even if he has a solid performance. So it's more me betting on the fact that I don't think he has a ton of upside overall. Uh, over the last 2 starts, he has as many walks as strikeouts. Not a huge K guy any longer. Well, never really was, but not showcasing it much this season. So, I would rather probably go down to use a guy like Garrett Whitlock today. Big fan of Whitlock's stuff. Was really impressive against the Angels. Uh, the Brewers over the last week haven't been overly dangerous, so I think it's a pretty interesting spot. So he's somebody that I'm going to kind of go with today for this main slate. It's kind of tough going over some pitching on this main slate just because I don't really love a whole lot of it. I mean, Haney might as well use him. He's striking out. He's got some strikeout ability. He had 10 and 5 against Kansas City, but he racks up pitch count, and he's not going to pitch deep. But the Oakland matchup is on paper pretty strong. So I think we have to use Haney, but I might go underweight if we start seeing that he's expected to be super popular. Um, this main slate's going to take a lot of breaking down and thinking through. So definitely join us at DFS Army to get my thoughts in my notes as the day goes on, and I will update the chat as well with where I'm kind of looking at the pitching options as the day progresses. So there we have it for today. breaking down some pitching for both slates. If you like what I am providing you, please hit the like button. The subscribe button really helps us out at DFS Army. Hit the comments with any kind of questions or thoughts that you might have about some of the matchups. And if you want to join us, grab promo code RAZ. I will put links in the description below, but RAZ gets you 10% off of your membership with us at DFS Army. And that's that. So, as usual, best of luck, everybody.